Paul, why are you hyperventilating? Wearing that Hawaiian shirt is cramping your style? Well, why don't you just change it? Because you don't know how to draw? What? Welcome to another episode of the Mighty Code Coder. I'm Rob Fitzgerald, here to make you great and help you innovate. In this episode, we're going to use our mood board to create our style tile. Now, you don't have to be an artist or know how to draw to do this. You're just going to copy and paste. That's right. In the comment section in the previous video, I put links to my mood board and my style tile that I talked about in the last video. I'll put a link to that video below this one in case you missed it. So when I created the style tile for the Mighty Code Coder site, I also used Adobe XD. All right. So just like the mood board, this really made it easy to copy colors and find the right icons and also fonts. So if you're using Adobe XD, download my zip file and you can just copy and paste your colors in where I have mine, and the same with the pictures. Replace the fonts, find your own icons, boom, you are off and running. If you are not using XD, try to duplicate the tile in a program that you think can do similar type actions. Maybe Google Docs, or you might just search or Google search for an online app that works the same, okay? So let's get started. All right, so just to remind you what my mood board looked like, I will go ahead and bring it up here. All right, and so it'll open up XD. It'd be nice, over the weekend I'll look to see if XD has some free version like Spark. Be cool, Paul, relax. All right, so this was my mood board, and that quickly turned into a style tile. Okay, like this. Okay, and so what I did was put, in fact, the one I think I put up there is the Husky Tusky. I didn't put this one up there. The Husky Tusky one, which is the same thing. I took this one and just changed the colors out. Let me give you an example. So yesterday I did the mood board for the Mighty Fish Fisherman, right? So let's open that up and I'll show you how I change things out, even if you have a style tile like this. All right, so open this, and here is the Fish Fisherman. All right, these are the images that I had. I still feel like this right here is a little bit off. It doesn't feel good to me, but we'll leave it for right now. I will basically take the Mighty Code Coder style tile, and I'll click this button in the upper left hand corner to create side-by-side versions of both the mood and the style tile. Okay, so now if I want to change the colors around, because I picked pictures with a lot of different colors than the Mighty Code Coder, I could easily just do this. So if I want to change that dark green color to something else, if I click on it, it now brings up all these are the attributes for that tile right there. And if I wanted to change this color, the fill color, I would just grab this little, what do you call this? Little eyedropper, okay? And it picks a color. This is great. It picks a color from the screen, okay? Anywhere on the screen, including going over here to this fish. Okay, so if I wanted to find a nice blue color to fit into my site, I could click there, and now that's actually a really nice blue. Okay, and that's the blue. And if I wanted to, I could find the hexadecimal number of that. It's actually, let me try to back that up a little bit. There is the hexadecimal number for that blue. Okay, so if I copy that, I can now put it underneath it. So now anybody that comes to my style tile or gets my style tile will know what color blue I used. Or if you have to go to Home Depot and paint with that, so you want to use that same color paint, there you go. So these hexadecimal numbers up here don't automatically change when your color changes, so you have to change them. All right, let's do another one just so you make sure you saw how that works. So if I want to change this green out with something else, I could come down here, take this eyedropper and pick anything over here. And of course, you guys know that I wanted to have some kind of red in this site. For some reason, I was seeing red. All right, and I will click on, I feel like I want to really do a dark red. Okay, so I'm going to really go into this darker red area. Okay, Paul's kind of in the way here, so let me see if I could turn that off. There we go. All right, so I'm in this red area here, and really darker red, and go with something like that. That's nice. All right, and again, it does the hexadecimal number right here, so I will copy it, and I will go ahead and paste it. I didn't like how that came out. Paste it, and remember it just has one hexadecimal. Okay, so there you go. There's the blue and red of the site that I filled is giving me the right mood. Okay, so that's really nice. Now, I guess I didn't tell you everything yet. So there's 5 colors up there. See those 5 colors? And I could just keep going my mood board and find all the colors that seem to be setting the mood for me, or I could go to a place that knows a lot about colors, even though I'm not a big design or color person, but there is a site that will tell us more about it. So let's do that. So if I go to a site called color.adobe.com, and once again, Adobe to save the day, this is a color site, okay? So I think I still have that red saved in my clipboard. So if I double click here and paste it in, there is that red, and there are analogous colors for that red. If you want to do monochromatic, again, click in this, hit paste. There you go, there's monochromatic to that red, okay? So you could use those 5 colors in your site if that's what you want, okay? Here's some complementary colors, okay? These are complementary colors to that, all right? And so even though you're not a designer, I could get shades of that color, all right? So there's some shades of it. Ooh, that's nice, black, and I like these reds. I think this is it right here. Let me just double check, see if that was the same one. Yeah, I think that was the same one. Okay, so those are complementary colors, and those all fit in, and you could use those in your style and just grab that, copy those other pieces, and you could come up here and go to the fill and paste it right here. And now you have those colors across that palette. All right. So if that's something you want to do and go with the pros and go with Adobe, you could do that, or you could just keep picking them from your style or your mood board, and you'd have a nice colors that actually match and go together, that actually are pleasing to people's eye. Remember I said some pictures just catch you, in the right spot. Sometimes you have everything complementary and it just seems like everything is in symmetry, and that picture is really nice to your eye. So Adobe Color can help you do that. Isn't that nice? Okay, so let's keep going. I want to actually change these pictures out. Now, these pictures and images are supposed to be what helped influence the site, so that if someone gets your style tile, they'll kind of know where you were going with it. And so I'm going to make this bigger now. And I'm going to now change these pictures out, because those pictures are how I got the colors and the feeling for Mighty Code Coder. Let's now change those out for the Mighty Fish Fisherman. So I'll go over here to my Finder, and I'll find those pictures that I had in my downloads. And I don't know why right now I can't see downloads. There they are. And here's the Mighty Fish Fisherman. These are all the pictures I used. I didn't even quite get 15. That's probably why the board's not really sitting right with me. I think I need a few more. But anyway, so the blue was the fish. So I think this is the fish one. So I will take that. That was a major influence on that color. All right. The red was, I believe, right here. Okay. That was a major influence on the color. And of course, they're both fish. So that's kind of nice. that red or yellow or something else that was a big determinant of where I wanted to go, I think this one right here is going to kind of play. All right, because that's that red color once again. And I wanted to take that, actually that background and use it. See how this background is a some computer code? I want actually something different back there. And I thought this picture of this bike and this door would be a nice background image for some reason. So if I want to just grab that and drag it into there, you could kind of see it in the background a little bit. It'll come more in the background if I actually brought the opacity up. Now, anytime you click on something and you get that blue line around it with the handles, it is controlled by these attributes to the right. Okay, so you come over here and you could increase the opacity so you can now start seeing that come through and find something where it's not too distracting, but it's kind of back there. All right, and that's kind of that's okay right there, but it still feels a little greenish, doesn't it? So I could basically take this off and double click on the background. I have the background green here. And so now I want to make the background a color that's jiving with my style. So I have a little eyedropper right there, and I could take that eyedropper and find a nice red. I don't know if that red works. For you guys, it definitely doesn't work. I'm looking at the screen. Let's try this one. That's even worse. All right, maybe the blue should come in at this point. Yeah, no. I'm gonna try to work with that red, this red here, and I'm gonna, for some reason, it actually looks good on my computer, but it doesn't look good up on your screen. And red's hard to work with, by the way, in media. They always tell you not to do it. So I'm gonna drag it down a little bit just so you guys have a better feel for what I am looking at my computer. On my computer, it looks a little bit like that, which I like. Now it's really dark on my computer, but this is about where I want to go with it. So you see how things are changing? Now the only thing that's not changing is it still has the name of my Mighty Code Coder. So I'm going to double click that and call it the Mighty Fisherman. Okay. And then the whole thing was always a pun on how many different terms there was for computer science or programming or coding. And so it was the Mighty Code Coder programming coach of computer science, just to kind of mock how many different terms there are for the same thing. And I could do the same thing with the fishing. So I'll say, do you guys know there's a fishing coach out there? You can actually hire a fishing coach. Okay. So I call it fishing coach of anglers. Okay, I think that's spelled correct. Maybe it's anglars. Okay. Anyway, someone's checked my spelling on anglers. I think that's right. All right, so the Mighty Fisherman. All right, but it kind of looks the same because I have the same fonts. So maybe I want to change the fonts. So if I click this, double click this, over here in the attributes section, all right, where it says Trojan, that's what I use for the Mighty Code Coder, but I want to use something different. And I was scrolling through some fonts this morning, and I found that I thought a neat one for this site would be a little more stylish, like it was called a Snell round hand. Yep, that's right. Snell round hand. There it is. And it was kind of classy looking, you know. So I like something like that. Maybe it could be just a little bit bigger. So I will change that from 77 to maybe a 90 font. Okay. And so there we go. And I kind of like this subheading in the Trojan. So I'm going to leave that here. So that looks kind of good. And remember, I'm getting the heading down and the subheading. So anytime that you're doing any fonts or, text, paragraphs in any form, whether it's on a flyer or whether it is on a website, you use this font, okay? And for subheadings, remember what a heading is. The war has ended, okay? That's a big heading. And then under the heading would be "We won," that'd be the subheading. So how do you want to have that? And I want kind of the Mighty Fisherman in that snub. Now there should be. Is there a font.adobe.com to help us match this stuff up? Maybe. All right. I'm not, all I know is what my eyes see. And sometimes that is good enough. All right. So example of a header is going to be not in this, but it's going to actually be in the Snell round hand. Okay, so I will put that here. That is right here. Okay, there it is. That's nice. And then you would tell people what that is. They're not going to know right away. So you have to actually put that in there. I had before the font was Trojan Pro 3. Now it is Snell round hand, bold. And then you could pick colors if you want, where if it's on a site, it should be a certain color. And so right now the color is just white. So that is FFF, FFF. Okay, now you might want yours to be different, but I kind of like that. It's a, I forgot to put this background back in the center. You might be wondering why it's off centered a little bit. All right, so there's 4 principles, design principles you want to try to meet as a non-designer, okay? Number 1 is contrast. There's nothing more prevalent in design than contrast, which is dark letters on a light background or light letters on a dark background, okay? Black and white are the furthest from each spectrum, or their best contrast, okay? And then another design element is repetition. So in order to try to make things repetitive, you can't break contrast, or vice versa. So it's kind of hard, right? Because if it's contrast, you're trying to make them really opposite. But if it's repetitious, it has to be the same. So how do you get, but that's the magic design. That's when you go into, or some of those pictures, or if you go into the Met, you're seeing a lot of those things match up. The third one element would be alignment. Everything should align with something. So you see how this is center aligned, and over this all thing is left aligned. All right. And the last thing is proximity. Proximity is kind of easy because I wouldn't have this up here and then the font name down here. You know, it should be in close proximity to what it's about. So proximity means make sure things are close, things that belong together are close together. So I would think in your style tile, you would create those 4 very easy design elements and make sure they work. Okay, so again, I'm going to actually make this is going to be an example of, I'm just going to leave this subheader the same. I'll make it a little smaller just so that they see that it definitely has to be smaller than this one. All right, so this one is 90, this one is 40, and this one is 36. So this one probably needs to be a little bigger. Let's bump that to like 60. And of course, then it goes off the chart. So let me just make this, instead of this as an example, I'll just put example of header. All right, and so everything should be kind of in those realms, 60 for the header and 36. All right, so people now have some really good things to go off if they're helping create style for your sites. All right, so you'd keep on going, and here's some body text. So if this is the font you want, that's what you would use. And here it is. This is the, see, I almost lost proximity. I almost forgot, like, did that belong to there or there? So make sure this is closer to what it belongs to in proximity. Okay, it should be closer to this. All right, go like this and this, and I'm now doing alignment rules. Alignment also is spatial alignment, so the same space between here should be here, and it's off a little bit. So I'm moving it around. So you can see how Adobe XD does. See, now they're both 34. You see that? So they were 33 and 35. Now it's 34 and 34. So that's alignment design. Okay. And then the last thing I'd probably do is probably these buttons. Okay. Now these buttons, when you get this action here, when it says, oh, they're 2 different colors, it probably means they're grouped. And so if I double click my pad, I can actually ungroup them. Okay, and now when I click on this, it's color, and then there's this color, and then I could use these icons or the eyedropper to pick a color, and let's make the buttons pop. So I'll make them yellow. All right, so if you're going to put buttons on an app or it's starting to look like USC, maybe that's why I like it. Anyway, so, and then now you have some contrast issues, right? So you have a light text, but you guys, yellow's light also. All right, so I can't have that. So we should probably make a different color here. So I will make this black. See how you can see that better? Okay, so if you're going to use my color for my buttons, you better use black as the button name or the button label. All right, so you can really see this coming together. It's basically a style tile for the Mighty Fish Fisherman. Now on the site, you also might be putting icons. I could see like in the boxes when I charted up what your website might look like in the different compartments or boxes in the header section. Instead of saying this is info, you might have a nice little icon that matches what it is. And so let's go get some icons. Now, in Mighty Code Coder, I figured I'd use these. But for like the Mighty Fisherman, you might want different icons. So I wanted to show you where to get icons. So you could go to here and just type in free icons. You thought I was going to go to Adobe again, didn't you? And Adobe has some icons, by the way, but it's stock and you need money. In fact, they come up one of the first ones, I think. Actually, I don't see it, but I'm going to go to this flat icon. All right. And so they have tons of icon. And so you could put something in here like fishing. I'm trying to keep them from accepting cookies, but I have to submit. All right. So I'm going to go fishing. And so you could find some nice little icons that might be used through your site. Now I kind of like this hook, little J hook everywhere. Hooks are synonymous with fishing. So I'm going to click on that. And oh, that takes me to Adobe stock. And now this is going to be, they're going to want some money or else. So don't go to Adobe stock unless you have that subscription. So I'm going to go down here to this one and just hit download the PNG file. And this one says you can have it free as long as you give the owner title. And I promise I will at some point, not right now. So there is my JHook. And so now on XD, you could open up that Finder window and that JHook is right here. And you could just drag, I wouldn't drag it in here yet because it's going to have to be sized correctly. So I'll just put it over here. And then I'll look at these and see how in fact, I grouped them. So I'm going to double click here and actually I didn't group them. Let's see, I put this white over there for contrast, right? If it's different, make it very different. So it's different than everywhere else on the site. So I'll click on this and you see this is 112 by 112. So you probably want to do this 112 by 112. All right, so there it is. So I'll take this out since I don't want to use that. And I might want to use this JHook icon throughout my site. Let's do another one just for the fun of it. Let's go back to that and let's put in search for something like filming. It's going to Adobe stock already. Look at this. No, stay away from Adobe stock. It wants money. All right, and I'll just take this little film strip here. And this one seems like it's not letting me take it. So let's do something else. Here, let's take this one. There we go. PNG. You can't blame these artists. They want money and it is their intellectual property and they deserve it. All right. So but just for example and for education, sometimes we get away with just borrowing it. All right. And so I'm going to go into this and take the film, bring it into my canvas area and work with it. Remember it was 112. So 112, tab it, and it'll make it the perfect size. I will remove the whistle, and I will put it up somewhere like this. Okay, so you can finish those icons and put this back and finish everything up. And quickly, and I just did this in one class period, started making a style tile for what I want. I know I have to finish a few more colors. Maybe some different fonts for the text, but I got the buttons. Maybe my adjectives throughout my site. Some strong adjectives will help work out a lot. And soon you'll have your own style. Okay, so that is it for your style tile. Okay, and so the rest is all downhill, just coding. Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed it. This is that does it for this episode. Remember, always trying to make you great and help you innovate. So until next time, where's Paul? Where are you? Where's Paul? Where'd Paul go? There's Paul. Okay, yeah. All right. Hey, if it's okay, I'm gonna remind them to put comments below if they have questions. Okay, so put comments below if you have questions, or go to the website at www.themightycodecoder.com, or find me on Twitter at mightycodecoder. See you next time.